did it not post it. Hey, Ginger. We're going to be walking up there in a second. They always turn my ads off, trying to not pay me. Always, always, always. All right. Suckers, man. Always trying not to. Yo, we're getting ready to walk around the corner to a protest in a second. They're always trying to be slick and turn my ads off. It still says ads off. I hate these fuckers. Ads. Monetization on. Okay. It's on. Let's try this again. Try it one more time and we're gonna get rolling. What's up, y'all? Always trying to turn my ads off and not pay me. Okay, we're good. Nope. All right, we're going. We are going. Let's go, baby. Need to light me up a cigarette. We gonna go around the corner to a little Stop ICE terror protest. And if you notice, they're doing. I was wondering why they did it in this neighborhood. Heavy Latino population. They're trying to anger the natives, obviously. Definitely did that before we came. Let's go.
I am. Wanna makes me wanna.
Let's go find a little protest in the middle of a neighborhood here. I do not, honey.
Have a good one.
You too. Let's see. Yep, there's the police. And where the police are, that means the protest is getting ready to begin. I gotta cross here. PSL is holding this Party for Socialism and Liberation. The DC chapter, they're commies. They'll probably have a little march coming down soon to meet the people that are already here. Still setting up. That's right. That lady was very interested in me. See that old lady? She was like looking at me. She even did a turnaround after I walked by. Looks like I saw this earlier. Saturday. There we go. That one, she's stalking me. I got a stalker already. Should be getting rolling in a few minutes, y'all. I think it's a couple minutes after 6. We got the amp set up. I'm sure the main PSL people, they usually come down in a little march and they'll set up in front of me. Well, Mom, you're gonna miss all the action. Sorry about your luck. You gotta start playing in these appointments better, Mom.
a veces está bien no entender a las cosas que no. Did you know?
There you go. That's not, no, it's not her. I don't, maybe. Yeah, it is. Good. I'm always good. Virgin Islands, baby, let's go. Appreciate you chilling with us from the Virgin Islands. Should be getting rolling here in a few minutes. Crowd starting to pile in.
Miradas míos para que a veces
This lady behind me is very interested in me. That one? Very interested in me.
a las cosas
Hovering. Has been hovering the whole time I got here. That's right. Take your 10. What's up, baby? Everybody should take some love. Yup. Been following me the whole time. Staring me down. Hovering everywhere I go.
Oh, ice. Okay.
No, ice. Ice. No.
Perdón, no estoy entendiendo. De Chicago. Soy italiana. La Copa Mundial.
Let's go, Rabina. Appreciate you. That's right. You know it is.
I'm
Let's not be in front of this camera. Should we put her right there? Yeah, right there.
Me right here?
Stand on that. I don't want you in front of his camera.
If I stay closer, is that okay?
yeah. You actually stand on
On
this
this
side of me.
side? Yeah.
This is my good Sears Brown.
And you don't have to look at the camera, it's just like we're talking to each other. If you could, so some of the formalities say, go ahead and say my name.
Morgan Argentina.
You can spell it for me.
Morganartyukhina.
And then official title.
Para hacerla, pues.
Spokesperson for the Party for Socialism and Liberation.
Okay, I asked at the beginning because sometimes another reporter may have something like morning service, so they can have all the information.
Step back right there.
Step back. If you could start big picture, explain what is the significance of today's.
I mean, today we're rallying here in Mount Pleasant to honor the victims of ICE terror across the country and here, in the DMV. In the last couple of days, we've seen some really brazen killings by ICE agents in Houston, in Maine. There was somebody who died in Florida today in a car chase, and like this is part of this like new campaign that ICE has launched. They're under pressure to get thousands of arrests per day, and it's also that Trump can boost his numbers with this new wave of racist attacks, targeting immigrants, targeting Haitians, folks who just lost their TPS protection and stuff. And locally in the DMV, in the last year and a half or so, we've seen more than 20,000 of our neighbors kidnapped by ICE. And so, this is a wound that our community has felt, and we're standing up to say that enough is enough.
I know that some information came out today about ICE potentially suspending car chases. Your reaction to that?
I mean, good. I hope they keep, suspending their operations. I mean, people have been getting killed on the streets. They've been getting killed, in traffic stops. But like, the traffic stop is not the reason that this violence happened in the first place. It's the fact that Trump and his far-right regime are trying to scapegoat immigrants in our country to deflect from attention of his disastrous wars in the Middle East, his the skyrocketing costs of living. And that's what people are really upset about. There's even a lot of people who voted for Trump because they believed in that he was going to be an isolationist, that he wasn't going to launch wars, that he was going to bring down the cost of gas, the cost of living. And people have seen the opposite happen. And so now he's resorting to the racism, to the xenophobia, to try and keep people from, uniting against this campaign against the working class, against working people in this country, the poor in this country, and that's really what their agenda is.
I know you were telling me, because I know I see you walking there from the closer. I know you were telling me in terms of who you can expect to hear from today. Walk me through that.
Well, we're going to see, this is just a community vigil and speak out, so there's going to be folks from the community, folks from different organizations that, work for migrant solidarity, immigrant solidarity, fighting, against, as I was saying, there is this direct connection between racism at home and wars abroad. And so we're going to hear from, anti-war groups and people who are building these connections, and people who are obviously affected by this reign of terror that we are facing now.
Is there anything that I didn't touch on in one of my questions that's important for people to know as they process what's going on today, and as we look ahead?
Yeah, I think that sometimes these things can feel far away. Somebody was killed in Houston, somebody was killed in Maine, But in DC, like I said, there's thousands of our neighbors, of our friends, family members have been kidnapped, in the last year and a half or so. But even more than that, here in DC, there's actually a struggle right now against ICE that is growing every day, against the fact that they're trying to build a new headquarters for ICE down in Congress Heights, on the site of the site of the old St. Elizabeth's Hospital complex in Ward 8. They're trying to build a $300 million new headquarters facility for ICE. And so there's a movement that's grown across the city, out of Fort Hays, really demanding that this, if they're going to put $300 million into this community, that it not go towards another police headquarters, it go towards the people's needs, you know? Give the community control over how money is going to be spent in their communities. And if you ask people down there, you know, and I hope that, you know, you guys can do that, you know, ask people what they want. They're not going to say they want a new police headquarters that's going to kidnap their neighbors being built, you know, on the site of these buildings. They need grocery stores, they need clinics, they need community centers, you know? And so I think that it's really incumbent upon all of us in DC, you know, if we want to show solidarity with people who are under attack by ICE all across the country, this is something that we can do now. Here is to fight against this attempt to give ICE a whole new facility, you know, a headquarters from which to run their entire racist deportation.
We're gonna get like a feedback. So this is like not official interview. It's just additional views.
Gotcha.
Do you know if the space person who's
I believe that's the family, yes. I don't know them, so I can't really get with you right now, but like I know that we were in contact with them. I believe they're going to speak to me. So that's why I didn't want to like, you know. So, but yeah.
Say it loud and say it clear.
I don't know what they look like.
Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud and say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Y'all, I ask that everybody move up a little bit closer. Let's fill this space. Let's be near each other tonight. And let me just make it so this speaker doesn't do that. All right, y'all. Good evening. Buenas tardes. Gracias por venir. Thank you for coming out tonight. I know that we all have a lot going on in our minds, in our soul, and all the things that we've been seeing coming out of the news this past week. And we are here to honor the lives that were stolen from us by ICE. We are here to honor the life of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo and all the other people who have suffered from ICE violence, the families that have been separated, the lives that have been torn apart. It's been about a year since Jaime Alanis was murdered in Ventura County. Just recently, you know, we saw Juan murdered in Maine. And we need to call for an end to this violence. So first, we gather here tonight to grieve, to honor them, to mourn them, to be in community, and then we go on to fight back, to refuse to let this happen again, to refuse to let this administration and this hated, violent, terroristic institution continue to tear our families apart, to kidnap our neighbors on their way home from work. We will not tolerate this anymore.
That's right.
So first up, I would like to welcome up Annabelle, our speaker from the Party for Socialism and Liberation.
Hi everyone, I'm Annabelle. I'm a part of the Party for Socialism and Liberation. So the Trump administration has once again revealed itself at this moment, as it has repeatedly since coming to power, to embrace a white supremacist divide and conquer policy by pursuing its goals of mass deportations. While offering nothing to benefit working people, the administration has virtue signaled to forward xenophobic distractions, hoping U.S. workers blame immigrants, not Trump and the billionaire class, for a worsening economic reality. In the summer of 2025, the Economic Policy Institute released a report that describes a harrowing warning for the working class in the United States. The report states that if Donald Trump achieves his goal of deporting 4 million people over his second term, it will result in almost 6 million jobs lost, including 3.3 million fewer jobs held by immigrant workers and 2.6 million fewer held by U.S.-born workers. Within the U.S. construction industry, 1.4 million jobs that are held by immigrant workers and 861,000 by U.S.-born workers would be decimated respectively. Within the field of childcare, 500,000 jobs would be lost. And these figures are just some of the estimates. This overtly racist divide and conquer strategy of the working class is a smokescreen by the billionaire agenda. While the right wing is engaging in a historic and full-scale attack on the working class and the benefits won through struggle, provided as a concession by the state, they require the deflection of the blame on immigrants instead of billionaire greed. The truth is that immigration has never been the root of any problems of the working class. The challenges working people face in the United States are not from communities within, but the ruling interests that capitalist politicians serve.
That's right.
Among hundreds of actions, the Trump administration has attacked OSHA standards, limited collective bargaining agreements, terminated grants that fight forced and child labor, and allowed DOGE to unleash wide-scale dismantling of public services won by decades of working-class struggle. Shame! The worker struggle has no borders. The worker struggle has no borders. Your turn.
The worker struggle has no borders.
The chant La lucha obrera no tiene frontera, the worker struggle has no borders, has long animated the movement for immigrant justice. That sentiment has only grown sharper in the face of state repression. ICE raids and federal crackdowns like the ones we have been seeing take innocent lives over the past several days across the country have targeted not only immigrants but citizens like Renee Good and Alex Petty, making clear that no one is insulated from this violence. More than a slogan, the phrase names a material reality that the economic lives of workers are deeply intertwined across communities. When raids tear people from their jobs, families, and neighborhoods, the damage ripples outwards for everyone. These attacks on immigrant workers will hurt all workers. Major industries that rely on immigrants and U.S.-born workers alike feel the injury by ICE terror. If immigrant roofers and framers are driven out of the construction industry, it means that U.S.-born electricians, plumbers, and HVAC workers are also out of a job. The construction of a house cannot be completed without all of its workers. With the fate of us, the working class, dependent on our ultimate unity, all worker and labor organizations must not only reject the current attacks on immigrants, but fight for full rights for immigrants once and for all.
That's right.
A right to a job must be enacted, and the near $1 trillion in spending towards ICE terror and greater deportation regime must be routed back into the community instead. Workers need a real program. Protections must be kept, and collective bargaining must be guaranteed as a right for all of us. When workers' rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Thank you, Annabelle. So, despite everything that, again, we're seeing coming out of the news, despite the terror, despite the tears and the sadness, all this fear, I see us standing out here together. I see us coming together. I see folks in Houston coming together. I see folks in Maine coming together. I think back to in California, in LA, when everybody was coming together. I think back in Minneapolis when the people stood up and fought back to defend their neighbors. And I think about how much stronger we are when we stand side by side and defend each other. And I think about the sheer injustice that we see with federal agents on our streets, with these masked ICE agents taking fathers, taking mothers, taking children, shooting a man dead in front of his partner and his 3-year-old child. These are images that we cannot normalize, and we will not normalize. And we will always gather here after events like these to demand that they never happen again. That is why we are out here. So, when people tell you to stay inside and be afraid, you must reject that. We cannot normalize this culture. We must reject it. We must stand up and fight back to defend the people in our communities who are workers just like you and me. We must fight back against the same institution that allows police departments across the country to murder black people. The same institution that, funds ICE to kidnap and murder Latino people and black people, and the same institution that also murders white people who stand up and resist that oppression. And do not listen to them when they tell you and they point fingers at one another. They point at people, they point at trans people, they point at people of different colors, different sexualities, depending on where they're born. We know that where people are born does not dictate their value. And we know that the real enemy are the people in the White House. We know that the enemy is ICE. And we know that when we are together, when we are unified, we have the power to demand a better world, to demand a world where people like Lorenzo, where Juan, where Jaime, and all the people get to live a long and happy and fulfilled life with their families. And that is the bare minimum. So I would like to welcome up our next two speakers, Tara and Mikel, friends of the Salgado family. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tara.
And I'm Mikel. We are here as friends of the Salgado family, standing with them tonight to share a little about who Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was. Before July 7th, a week ago today, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was not a headline. He was not a statistic. He was a man of routine. Up before the sun, out the door by 6, home every night to the same porch, the same meal, the same dog, waiting at his feet. For 30 years, he built houses for other families across the Houston suburbs. And then, finally, he built one for himself alongside the family and friends who mattered to him most. He was a private man who never wanted to be known outside his own home. All he ever wanted was to work hard and take care of his wife and 3 sons. And he did, keeping every promise he made to her. He also gave other men in his community the same chance someone once gave him, opening his door to anyone willing to put in the work.
He believed in his son's future more than anything else, and he raised him to respect people and to work hard, no matter what. He loved his country. He loves his country's soccer team almost as much as he loved teasing his sons about theirs. And it's safe to say that Lorenzo's life was defined by loving his family and being loved in return.
6 days after Lorenzo was killed, ICE agents shot and killed another man across the country. Juan Sebastián Guerrero was 26 years old. He was also a husband, a father to a 3-year-old daughter who was steps away when he died. 2 men, 2 fathers, 2 families who never met. Lorenzo and Juan Sebastián will never know how much they had in common. They worked, they loved, and they were loved. And they were both shot dead in the street by an agency that has yet to answer for either killing and many more.
ICE has taken so much from us. It has taken our fathers, it has taken our sense of safety, walking to work, driving our kids to school, sitting on our own porches. But hear us clearly, ICE has not taken our community. It cannot. A community is not a place. It's a promise that we show to each other by showing up like you are today. We are here tonight for Lorenzo. We are also here for every Lorenzo, for every Juan Sebastián who has not made the news yet, for the workers standing outside Home Depot being targeted by ICE raids, for the mothers walking to school while hiding their own fear, for every family that feels unsafe answering their own door. Before July 7th, many of us here did not know Lorenzo's name, but he was one of us. He was passionate and he was hardworking and he was cherished, until the day he was never given the chance to grow old.
So, on behalf of this community, the neighbors, co-workers, and friends who have come together across DC tonight, we are not here to ask, but we are here to demand.
We demand the release of the other 3 men who were taken that same morning, men who were with Lorenzo, one of them his own brother, men who have not been heard from since, and who we believe are being pressured towards self-deportation instead of being allowed to tell the truth of what they saw.
We demand legislation, real, binding, enforceable legislation that ends unmarked vehicles, ends unidentifiable agents, and ends operations that treat working people like targets.
And we demand that the agents who shot and killed Lorenzo Salgado Araujo and Juan Sebastian Guerrero be publicly identified by name. No badge, no vehicle, and no agency should be the reason that people should be allowed to hide the people responsible for taking a life.
We demand that ICE get out of our communities, get out of our neighborhoods, get out of our children's schools, our job sites, and our streets. And when its agents take a life, this community demands that they face the same justice that anyone else who kills in cold blood does.
ICE murdered a man in our own community, a man who fed his family with his own two hands, who built houses so other families could have a home. That is who they are attacking every single day, the people who hold our communities together. And that ends when we refuse to let it. So, justice for Lorenzo Salgado Araujo.
Justicia para Juan Sebastián Guerrero.
And justice for every family that ICE has terrorized up to date.
And peace for every family who has not have to suffer that terror so far.
Aquí estamos. Y no nos vamos. Aquí estamos. Y no nos vamos. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. 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 I would like to welcome up our next speaker, Ben, with the Answer Coalition. Welcome.
ICE out of DC. ICE out of DC. ICE out of DC. ICE out of DC. ICE out of Houston. ICE out of Houston. ICE out of Maine. ICE out of Maine. ICE out of everywhere. ICE out of everywhere. ICE out of everywhere. ICE out of everywhere. Give yourselves a hand for being out here. Today, we're out here responding to another attack on one of us. Right now, across the country, armed, masked, and unmarked cars are roaming the streets of working people. There was I was out downtown in front of the Capitol, and you saw a flag at half-mast. And of course, we've seen a death that millions of people have felt and taken as a loss of their own family. And that's of course for Lorenzo, for Juan, for Renee Good, for the more than 11 people that have been killed just in the last year by ICE and DHS. But of course, our system does not mourn these deaths. It creates these deaths. So the flag that's hanging at half-mast in front of the Capitol is for not someone that creates worlds, someone that is a builder, a construction worker, someone that provides and builds their family's lives, creates family, creates life. It's someone like Mitch McConnell, who takes lives. He says, you know, the more that we need to flatten Gaza. That's what he says. We need to destroy the lives. And to me, I think that truly embodies what this system is. Because if you see all of our leaders, they line up, Democrat and Republican. They say, you know, I may not have agreed with everything that Mitch McConnell said, but, you know, we have to honor his life. Well, what are they saying about Lorenzo Salgado? They've said nothing. So it's on us to say something, right? We have to be in the streets continuously. And I think a lot of people think, you know, this is the countless time that we're out here seeing the death of an immigrant, the death of a Palestinian, the death of a trans person. That some people may celebrate, this was never their America. And so it's on us to ensure that we are showing that there are two Americas. For every ICE agent that's in the street, there's thousands of us. For every MPD officer that willingly guns down one of our neighbors, there's hundreds of us in DC, willing to outnumber them. We have the power to take the fate of history into our own hands. And we saw that in 2006. Many people may not remember, many people may not be, old enough to remember, but in 2006 there was the Sensenbrenner bill, and it was basically making it illegal to be an immigrant, making it impossible to be actually someone that can live in the United States without being treated as a subhuman by the United States government. And so it started in a meatpacking factory in the South. Many people may not think that this is something that is, a space for revolt. Many people think that the South is backwards, that the South is reactionary. But I think we understand in many ways as the South, that's where struggle actually happens in this country. And so meatpacking, super exploited, made to work for criminal wages because under threat of deportation, they said, we're not going to stand with this. We have nothing to lose but our chains. So we're going to stop working for the boss. So they walked off the plant. And at first, it seemed like they were the only ones. They felt, I'm alone. It's just us. They can just send us home. They can send us out of the country. Because they said that we don't belong here. And they just use us to work us to the bone. But what happened was the movement grew. It understood that if they planted their flag and said, actually, we demand full rights for immigrants, not just that we want to stay here, that we belong here, that more people will come to that defense, more people will come to that side. We see that in many ways throughout politics. Many people thought Israeli apartheid. No one was ever going to be against that in the United States. Everybody in the United States, they don't care about Palestine. 500,000 people took to the streets in 2004 and proved that wrong in DC. And we see it in Los Angeles. The National Guard, just like in DC, they were roaming Los Angeles. They were deployed, looking to keep working people down, looking to keep neighborhoods just like Mount Pleasant down. But what did they do? They stood up. They rebelled. They said that it is not the National Guard streets, it's Los Angeles' streets. And that they kept it going. They kept it going until one day Trump said, I'm done. Mission accomplished in his eyes. But it was the people that won that victory. Look at Minneapolis. We see the fact that people called a general strike for the first time in 70 years. It showed that it wasn't about waiting until November. They were going to kick ICE out of their neighborhood now. And it's not about waiting for whatever blue or red politician to come and give you your rights. We see through the struggle in Jim Crow, where Congress, where the president, the Supreme Court, the media, the racists that bombed and attacked and killed civil rights organizers. Everybody, none of those people changed. It was the fact that everybody knew that if only they took action, they would win. And so we need to embody that level of struggle in this moment. We're at an epic moment in terms of our history. 250 years, there's been a class war, essentially, on working and oppressed people. And so I think at this time, it is about time that we win this war. So, more than ever, it's time to take to the streets, more than time to make sure that business as usual will not occur. More than ever, it's time to make sure that people know that it's not just about elections politically, but it's about being organized and threatening just short of revolution, if not revolution. Because this is about the lives of our people at this point. People are getting gunned down. And so if we're going to wait for an election just because if someone was murdered, then we have a lot of work to do, don't we? So are we ready to get organized?
Yes!
Are we ready to stay in the streets?
Yes!
July 18th, in Saturday, there's a march against the new ICE headquarters in Southeast. Will you be there?
Yes!
Then I think that DC is ready to stay organized, stay in the streets, and actually kick ICE out. ICE out of DC!
ICE out of DC!
ICE out of everywhere!
ICE out of everywhere!
ICE out of DC!
ICE out of DC!
ICE out of everywhere!
ICE out of
El
everywhere!
pueblo unido!
Jamás será vencido!
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Thank you.
Up with liberation.
Up with liberation!
Down, down with deportation.
Down with deportation!
Up with liberation.
Up with liberation!
Down with deportation.
Down with deportation!
Up next, I would like to welcome up a representative with the Washington Teachers Union. Welcome up, Michael Katzke.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Brothers, sisters, siblings, my name is Michael Katzke. I am a public school teacher and proud union member. And I'm here today for the reason everybody else is here today, to say ICE out of DC, ICE out of everywhere. You know, I've stood right here in this position many a times, making many speeches, and the fact remains the same, that my classroom is a front line. I see it every day. I don't just see empty desks after an ICE raid. I see a system that deliberately creates those absences. I hear the name Renee Good, Jaime Alinas, Keith Porter Jr., all victims of ICE terror, not just as victims though, but as echoes in the hallway, reminding us that this violence that we're out here today to protest, to stand up against, is not a fault, but by design. This administration operates a machine of deportation, of militarization, of fear. It funds cages and endless wars by starving our schools, our clinics, our homes. It believes that our labor runs this country, but our voices shouldn't guide it. And I'm here to tell you today that they are wrong. Our power is not just in our voices, but in our hands. It's in our ability to make their world stop functioning. The power of a teacher is to educate, but also to withdraw our labor and solidarity. The power of a community is to sustain life, but also to halt the economy that feeds our oppression. So, Ben just talked about they're planning a new ICE headquarters in Southeast. Have you all heard about that? Is this your first time hearing that? For some of us, yes. For some of us, no. I find it despicable that in Southeast, in a neighborhood that we know is predominantly brown and black and needs community funds, instead of funding healthcare, instead of funding education, instead of funding people's needs, our government has decided to double down and fund this terroristic deportation and murder machine. And so we stand here today to say, not in our name. Because when our community is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
And we need to fight that. It's not going to be any elected official or any member of leadership in DCPS central office who's going to save us. It'll be the people who save us. Because we know that this moment necessitates the bravery, determination, and steadfastness of our city's community to fight for nothing less than all of our children's, all of our families' rights to a fair, equal chance at liberty, education, healthcare, everything that they need, rather than this war machine. Try as they may, these agencies will not scare us. They will not scare our students. They will not scare our families, our loved ones into submission. Because we will continue to educate ourselves, to agitate, to stand up, and to fight back for what is a fundamental right for all of our students. That is, of course, access to a quality education. I don't know about you all, I'm ready to stand up and fight for our students, our community, our city, our loved ones, everybody that makes this city run, and I hope every single one of us here today is able to do the exact same. Thank you very much.
Aquí, allá, el pueblo vencerá.
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 Thank you so much to all of our speakers, and I ask all of us as we stay here, as we stay in this plaza, this historic plaza that belongs to each and every one of us here, that belongs to the people, that we stay with each other, that we speak with each other, that we mourn Lorenzo, that we mourn Juan, that we honor their legacies, and that we commit ourselves in this moment to fight back against an administration and a system that allows violence like this to persist. Because every time a person is kidnapped, every time a child is separated from their family, every time somebody is beaten in our streets, that is a direct attack on every single one of us. And so again, as we're watching the news, and we don't even necessarily have to turn on the news to see the violence, especially here in DC, we see it in our streets every day. And we see it in Ward 8. While Clark Construction has this contract with DHS, they're trying to build a new ICE headquarters that will become another hub for this violence. We see this, and we see all of these opportunities to fight back in our own neighborhood, in our own city, and throughout this entire country. So let this moment ground you. Let the spirit of Lorenzo and Juan and Jaime and Luis, all these people who have suffered at the hands of ICE violence, let their spirit invigorate you to fight another day, and to tell your friends, and to tell your family, and to tell your coworkers that they too can fight another day, that they must fight another day, that we have no alternative, because the world that is our future, we have to build it ourselves and work toward it every step of the way, starting today. So again, as we close out this vigil, as we honor Lorenzo, as we honor Juan, I ask that you stay here and talk to one another, and that again, you commit yourselves to showing up day in and day out to fight for a world that we deserve. Thank you.
This way, DC, look. This is a matter. DC is free.
Yeah, yeah. So I haven't done that, but you know, I didn't. No, it's an international relationship. Yeah, when I mean
They're vast terrace. That's what they are.
I think that's definitely
If people are pissed off about those
Saturday, July 18th, Malcolm X at MLK, 2 p.m. We'll be there. Damn, I didn't even have time to get hot and thirsty. That was like 45 minutes. Quickie, done.
Have a good one.
Sites.
Oh, okay.
LOL. Damn, it took me longer to drive here than it did for the whole thing. They have bullets, we have ballots, we will win. Very interesting. Did not. It took me longer to drive here than the actual protest was. I would imagine the one Saturday they're having a march too. That'll probably be quite a bit longer. I got an ice cold water at the car, I know that. Ready for that. The cops. All right, y'all. That was a Quiggy protest today. Back to the car and back to Baltimore I go. Catch you all on the flip side. Deuces.